Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to see you this morning. As you can see, a lot of people are joining us, so we're going to give it just a minute or two so everybody can acclimate. Join us for Teach for Antelope Valley. We're thrilled that you're here. I'm hoping that everybody is in a situation where you're nice and comfortable, you're feeling relaxed. We've got a fantastic day ahead of us. As you can see, we've got more people joining, so I'm just going to wait for a minute until everybody's in the space and we're all together. If you hadn't had a chance to mute yourself, we greatly appreciate it because we've got a lot of us that are going to be at Teach for LA today. So we are so happy to see you. I want to start off by just introducing myself. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm so excited to be here. My name is Renee Marshall, and I have the honor of being a consultant and working for Antelope Valley College, and I'm so excited to bring Teach for Antelope Valley to you today. This is the first time that we're doing this conference in Antelope Valley. Just for a little bit of background, just so everybody knows, we actually host this conference twice a year in Los Angeles. This conference also takes place in the Bay Area, and that happens twice a year as well. And then I'm really excited to share that just recently, Teach for Central Valley happened, and I had the opportunity of being a keynote speaker for that conference. And so we're so excited that Teach for Antelope Valley is here today, and that we are all going to be together for a day of professional learning, a day of networking, and a day of just really getting a good idea to make sure that this is the right pathway for you, and just having an idea about what opportunities are available for those who want to be a teacher, want to be a counselor, anything in education. You're thinking about preschool. You're thinking about becoming an elementary school teacher, high school teacher, middle school, junior high. You want to be a college professor. You're in the right spot today. The TAP program at Antelope Valley is created for anyone who's interested in being an educator or coming into the field of education. I want to give a shout out already to the people who are showing themselves on camera. I know that it is Saturday morning. I know some of you are still in pajamas, and guess what? That's okay because this is a virtual conference. We're just thrilled that you're here. If you are in a space or place at any point today where you are able to show your face on camera, please do. You'll also see that a lot of our presenters, they're going to want to engage with you today. So please don't be shy. Please make sure when they ask you to introduce that you say who you are, and just let us know a little bit about you. In the chat right now, I'm going to ask for everyone to please let me know, what is your name? What school are you at? If you're not at a school right now, no worries. If you are at a school, great, let us know. And usually by a school, it could mean that you're at a college student, and you're in teacher prep. Maybe you're at Antelope Valley College. Maybe you're at one of the LACCD colleges. Maybe you are outside of California. Guess what? In the virtual space, we all get to be here together, which is so exciting. And if you are not at a college right now, but maybe you're working for a school district, maybe you're a paraeducator, a yard duty supervisor, maybe you're already a teacher. That's fantastic because we have stuff for you today too. So I just want to let everybody know, my name's Renee Marshall. I have had the honor of working in teacher preparation in the community college system for the last, goodness, oh my gosh, since 2004. And for those of you that are local who are on this conference right now, I actually had the opportunity to serve at College of the Canyons, which is one of our neighboring colleges with Antelope Valley College. And just thrilled to be here, thrilled to be together. If everybody could please in the chat introduce themselves, let us know your name and your college or your school, but also let us know, what are you most excited about when it comes to Teach for Antelope Valley today? Let us know. Maybe it's you cannot wait to go see Brandon when he does his presentation on JPL. JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, that's NASA, everybody. We have a NASA scientist here today who's going to be with us. We also have a panel of educators that focus on STEM in their classrooms. We have people from early childhood education, people who are going to teach you about how to become a K through 12 educator and what all the requirements are to get a teaching credential, whether it's multiple subject, single subject credential, special education credential. And we're not going to focus on this today, but I do want to let everybody know, for those of you in the early childhood education space or considering that, just know that next month, the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing should be voting in a brand new credential. And guess what, early childhood educators? It focuses on PK to 3 grades. So all your child development, that can be your focus as you're completing your credentialed program. Anyways, we are so thrilled for everybody to be here today. It's really going to be a wonderful, wonderful day. We already have 77 of us in the room at 8:07 a.m., which is a great, great, great show already, and we appreciate it. Um, I also want to, I'm looking in the chat right now, and I love to see what people are looking for. I love that somebody said, I'm super excited to hear about becoming a special education teacher. Right now, special education is one of the hottest areas of need for education. Also, bilingual education, also K through 12 education. We also need faculty right now. We need, one of the biggest needs we have right now is actually for early childhood educators. Just so everybody knows, by 2025, so we're really talking just a blip of time, we are going to change transitional kindergarten where suddenly every single 4-year-old in the state of California is going to be eligible. It's not going to be like this little window anymore. So for anybody who's thinking about working with younger children, just so you know, in the next 2 years, we are going to need 14,000 transitional kindergarten teachers just for one grade level. And just to put that in perspective, everyone, last year, the Commission on Teacher Credentialing granted just about 16,000 credentials for every grade from TK to 12. So 13 grades needed 16,000 credentials last year. In 2 years, we have one grade that's going to need 14,000 people just for that grade. Anyways, it is a time of opportunity. It is a time of making change in education. It's a time of doing what's right and helping children to recover, children and teens and adults to recover from the pandemic. You know, we're learning a lot about the learning loss. A lot of data has come out recently about the standardized testing in K through 12. I gotta be honest, as a mom of 2 kids, I was surprised our system even tested the kids last year. The kids are out of whack, everybody. They need us a lot right now. And they need us in a whole different way than we've shown up in the past. So the fact that it's Saturday morning and you're here already, it shows me that you're the kind of person who's going to be showing up for the students in your classroom. And I want to say thank you because they need educators and they need educators who are going to help change people's lives. I know that sounds dramatic, but I'm serious. This is part of who we are and what we do as educators. I also want to just mention too, for those of you who are on right now joining us, and if you're a first generation teacher, first generation student, I want to let you know that one of our breakout sessions today is specifically focusing on being a first generation student. And I'm proud to say that that session is led by a first generation student who's now a professor in the community college system. And she's a fantastic role model. Anyways, I hope that today everyone finds something that's going to feel right. That's what Teach for Antelope Valley is. This is all about resources and getting things into your hands so that and networking so that way you're the best educator you can be. Also, a little bit later in our opening session today, I'm going to share kind of like a cool little thing that I've got coming up next week, a kind of special plus for anybody who's here at the conference. So make sure to stay with us. We're going to have opening session for 1 more hour, and then we have a 5-minute break, and we go straight into all of our breakout sessions. So it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a fantastic day. Thank you so, so much for being here. Now, before we get going with our next speaker, I just want to have a second to talk for just a moment about Teach for Antelope Valley and the person who's leading this charge. Jane Bowers is a leader in education, and we're so lucky that she's situated at Antelope Valley College. Jane's going to share with us a little bit about her story as an educator and how she got to lead the TAP program at I almost said College of the Canyons, Jane. Sorry about that. At Antelope Valley College. In addition to that, we're also going to talk a little bit about just the origin of the program and how did Jane kind of take over and what she's been doing with it. You know, Teach for Antelope Valley, it's a concept. When you run a conference and you create a conference, it's a concept. Jane came with the concept and said, Renee, I'd love to do this. How do we operationalize it? And so for months, Jane and I have been trying to figure out what would be the best topics, what would be the best speakers, what you try so hard to construct, what ideally would be the conference for the community. And so today we bring you the conference for our community. And I'm so, so proud to introduce my colleague and friend, Jane Bowers, who's going to tell us a little bit about her journey as an educator. Thank you so much, Jane, for your leadership. And I will hand the mic over to you.
Thank you so much, Renee. I'm so glad that we're colleagues and working together. It's been amazing. And producing this conference was a great experience. And I hope that everyone who attend today like it and finds something that they can use later for their future careers or current careers. Hello and welcome again, everyone, to Teach for AV conference. My name is Jane Bowers. I teach mathematics here at Antelope Valley College. And I'm also a project director, as Renee mentioned, for the Teacher Accelerated Preparation Program, the program through which this conference came into life. I took the lead of this project last year when my dean, Christos Veliotis, he's here too, and he's going to be speaking later as well, asked me if I would like to work on this grant. This program is funded by Title V federal grant. I read the grant and I realized what an amazing opportunity this grant provides for the community to increase the pathways for those who would like to go into education. And I just knew right away that I wanted to be a part of it. My journey to teaching, my personal journey wasn't straight. I mean, I always wanted to be a teacher, and when I was a little girl, I would sit my toys in front of me and I would pretend it's a classroom and I'm a teacher and I teach my toys. But it happened that after school, my parents talked me out of teaching. And so I went to engineering school. I grew up in Ukraine, and the teaching profession there is not as secure as it is here in the United States. So my parents, I know they wanted the best for me, and my dad is an engineer, so he said, I will help you on your path to engineering. And I said, okay. So I went to engineering school. And after I got my master's in telecommunication engineering, my life took me in many careers. I worked as a project estimator in Ukraine. And then when I came to the United States, I worked for a construction company as well as a drafter, as a project estimator for a couple of years. That was until my younger daughter was born, and I had a chance to stop and stay with her for a year. It was rethinking what do I really want to do? Do I want to go back to engineering, or it was time, I thought it was time to do something that I always wanted to do. So I decided to go and get my teaching credential. I went to California State University, Bakersfield, here in Antelope Valley. We have a campus to get my teaching credential. Then I got an offer to teach a couple of math classes here at AVC, and I agreed right away. I thought it was a great opportunity to try to do actual teaching, what I wanted to do. I also, parallel to teaching at AVC, I worked as a substitute teacher for elementary school, middle school, high school. So I was in all levels of schools, and to see how it works. And it was also interesting for me because the education systems are a little bit different here and in the Ukraine. So I learned a lot by substituting in the schools too. So when I received an offer to take the lead for this project, I was very excited this opportunity, because not only because I saw how much possibilities it opens for the community, but also it felt personal to me. I felt like this was my time to give back to the community, to those who are looking into education field, but maybe don't know where to start, or to those who are currently teaching and would like to learn more about it. You know, some people might try to talk you out of teaching profession because they might think it's too challenging. And yes, I don't disagree. At times it is challenging, but out of all professions that I had, teaching for me is the most rewarding. To tell you the truth, all professions have their pros and cons and their own challenges. And I like teaching also because it allows me to share my knowledge, what I know, what I learned. I believe that knowledge is the most valuable possession that you can have, something that no one can take from you. Also, knowledge is something that must be shared. It's like a glass of water. If the glass is full, it cannot add more water. So it has to be shared. And remember, certain parts of this path are going to be challenging, but don't let it stop you from becoming an educator. For example, my husband is a teacher too, and it took him time to try to pass the math portion of the CBEST. My husband finally was able to pass the test when I started tutoring him in math. Now he's teaching. He's been teaching for over 15 years now. CBEST has two parts, English and math. For example, for me, the English part was the most challenging because English is not my first language. So I started with ESL classes here at AVC. I took ESL classes and then I took English classes. And then I was able to pass CBEST. Then I was able to apply to the program. So don't let challenges stop you on your way to your dream career in education. Today's conference will have a focus on STEM education, but we also have many sessions on different levels, teaching in elementary school, middle school, and high school. We have great presentations prepared from you from JPL, from the representative of various high school students, and more. The TAP program is here to support anyone interested in a career in education. And I also wanted to thank people who helped and supported this conference. Renee Marshall, the grant consultant, Christos Valiotis, Dean of Math, Science, and Engineering Division, and Dr. Jennifer Zillet, the president of Antelope Valley College, for providing their support for this program and support for the community. Now I want to introduce to you Christos Valiotis, Dean of Math, Science, and Engineering Division, who wrote this grant proposal and who made this program come into life. Christos. You're muted.
Could you unmute, please?
Muted, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jane, for your kind words. And I would be amiss if I didn't return the favor to Renee and Jane for doing such an amazing job in putting this together. I long for the days when we would have done this in our theater, where I can see all of you and meet and talk to each one of you personally, and hopefully next year we'll do this on a face-to-face. However, this still is good. There's 84 participants right now. I'm sure there are going to be others throughout the day. So congratulations of a very well done, of a job very well done, ladies. I appreciate it. And before I introduce Jennifer Zillet, Dr. Zillet is our new president, just took the helm. She's at the helm of the institution since July, 1st of July. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about the efforts that AVC has done over the years to support education. Believe it or not, the first meeting such as this was done with participation of about 20 teachers and a few faculty members, including myself, in 2004. As a matter of fact, it was probably sometime in this fall of 2004 where we met trying to figure out, with only one question at hand, what are we going to do to improve the STEM pool. I'm a physicist by training. I'm a physicist. I worked as a physicist and engineer. However, my PhD work is done in education and evaluation and assessment. So I have a very soft spot about education, because at the time that we met for the first time, we realized that regardless of the efforts that we're going to do to attract as many students as possible in the STEM programs, unless we actually feed the path as early as elementary school to get the students aware and their parents are aware of the value of education in general, and specifically STEM education, we're not going to be able to recruit as many students as we wanted to in our college classes. Antelope Valley College, well, Antelope Valley in general is, as you know, is also called the Aerospace Valley. About 60% of the revenue of the surrounding areas, Palmdale, Lancaster, general, all the way up to Ridgecrest, is coming from the major aerospace industry, including the Air Force research labs and facilities. So we had, at the time, the recognizable lack, let's just say problem, was the lack of homegrown engineers, mathematicians, scientists, and so forth. Along the way, in planning how we're going to address that issue, which we have done, by the way, we realized that a close collaboration between K through 12 districts and the college is necessary. So we started the first effort, as I said, in 2004, where we invited a few teachers and start talking. This led to in the creation of what it's called now the STEMposium. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's not run by the college anymore. In 2012, I handed it over to the STEM Network, which is a valley-wide endeavor that includes all kinds of stakeholders. However, a specific teacher conference is still necessary. Over the years, and starting in 2004, we've done here at the college, free of charge. And as a matter of fact, we used to compensate participants when they came into our trainings. A lot of trainings for sciences and mathematics. We haven't expanded it to all other disciplines, which I'm glad to see that we're doing it now, today, because that's what our specialty. This is what we're comfortable with. I mean, I'm comfortable in training teachers in science. I'm sure there's others out there and there's a big need in other disciplines, and we will continue our support in those disciplines. But we started this in 2004, and over the years we've done a lot of them. There have been gaps in terms of offering those trainings and those workshops for teachers for preparation. But we are making the biggest effort, the best effort that we can. As you know, funding is a problem. You guys are in other community college districts or in K through 12, and we're all publicly funded. So we've been very successful over the years in securing federal funding to fund those efforts so that we don't put an undue pressure in the college finances. So this particular effort is funded by, as Jane mentioned, the Title V grant, which is from the Federal Department of the U.S. Department of Education, and we will continue those efforts to help you. You will hear more about the efforts that we're going to do starting this year. Some of you may be familiar also with a very successful program that we have for K through 12 students and teachers. Is the Science Olympiad, which is coming back on board face-to-face next February. If you're not familiar with it, we'll send you information to see if you can get involved in your schools. We offer training and we offer opportunities for supporting your students and your schools on that effort, if you would like to be part of it. But before I conclude, again, I want to thank Jane for her leadership in taking this on at a time where she was very busy. But the reason that the Antelope Valley College has been successful in doing projects like such as this is because of the excitement and the commitment of faculty and other friends of ours, such as Jane and Renee, and we appreciate this, ladies. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Jennifer Gillette, who is our new president. As I mentioned, came on board as of last July. Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Christos. And I want to begin by offering my apologies. I was trying some new technology here at home, and I can't make my camera work. And so you're going to have to be stuck looking at this photograph. And I really apologize because I really like seeing everyone's face. And thank you to those of you who have your cameras on. Trust me, you would be looking at my face for good or ill if my camera were working. And so please accept my apologies for that. And know that I'm very excited to be here. I want to echo my thanks to Jane and Christos and Renee. Things like this, it may seem like, oh, it's just a Zoom meeting. It's just this. it takes so much organization. And like Christo said, it really does take a lot of organizational time and planning and really intense thought about what you as potential educators or educators looking to change how you're working. It takes a lot of thought to make meaningful sessions so that you can take away what you need. So I want to thank them for all the time and effort that they put into this. And I know that you're going to walk away from today seeing a whole new world of possibilities. If you're already an educator, maybe ideas for your career growth, or even things that you can add to your toolkit. If you're someone who's looking to get into education, maybe this will be that inspiration that you need to take that step. So I would like actually to share a little presentation with you. So I'm someone who, you can do a lot of things for a job, right? There's a lot of things you could do. And if you're someone who wants to earn a lot of money, there's a lot of things you could do to make a really fine living. And actually teaching is one of them. If you're someone who is a parent, maybe you have a partner, maybe you're a single parent. A teaching career is one that is very flexible. There's intense times of work, but it's more family friendly than some careers. But there's a difference between a career and a calling. And my experience with people who pursue education and pursue teaching, they're not just looking for a career, they actually want something to do with their life that is meaningful. So, we always think, okay, when I'm on in my last thoughts and I look back, what has my life meant? What have I done? Have I made the world a better place? I can't think of a better career than teaching. It's right up there with medicine or policy making or all of those things that make differences in people's lives. And in fact, you may have heard the phrase, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. It's very true. When you teach, especially when you teach young children, they are at the formative stages of their thinking, their worldview, their attitudes, their perceptions, and your thoughtful teaching and molding shapes who they will be for their life. And what's actually kind of sobering, especially if you are a parent, it's the fact that the teacher spends more time in a day with the child than the parent does. You're with them almost 8 hours, right? That's really intense. And what a privilege. And if you want to change the world, if we want the world to be a more peaceful, collaborative, kind place, then we start with our TK children today, teaching them to be peaceful, collaborative, kind, and teaching them how to discuss things without fighting. All of those things that we would like to see in our world, because those children will shape their minds and understand that you can live your life that way. So teaching is more than a career, it's a calling. So I don't know if you've ever done what's called a chatterfall, but chatterfalls are really fun. If you open up the chat box, don't hit send yet, but I want you to think for a second. Why do you want to teach if you're not teaching yet? If you're already teaching, why do you do what you do? So everybody type your response in the chat box, but wait until I say go to hit send, okay? We'll all hit send at the same time and then watch the chat box, because it's going to be this beautiful chatterfall of wonderful positivity. So go ahead and think and type. Okay, on your mark, get set, go. This is so exciting. To become the teacher I want my children to have. I want to help children, inspire children to learn music, represent all cultures, make a difference. I see that multiple times. This is wonderful. So exciting. To make an impact, want to be an inspiration. I love working with students and seeing how different they see things. This is so amazing. And you know what, guys, as I'm looking through this Chatterfall, what I'm seeing is exactly the thing that will keep you grounded. Because I promise you, there will be days where you are so tired and you think, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Why do I keep, there's so much, you'll get sort of caught up in the minutia of the job, all these papers to grade, children with disciplinary things to tend to, administrivia, the principal is saying, I needed that yesterday, right? All of those things. What keeps you inspired and keeps you going is remembering why you are doing this in the first place. Remember your why. I have a picture sitting in my office, and those at ABC who were at opening day heard my story, but it's a picture of my mother when she was 2 years old in a certain setting. That picture reminds me of my why. And on days when I get overwhelmed and wonder, who thought I could do this job? Why did they hire me to do this? Because we all have imposter syndrome and we all have self-doubt. I look at that picture and I say, I'm doing this because I know education makes a difference. I know it's a game changer. So when we think, thank you for participating. That was really wonderful. And I believe that if you're sitting in the chat, they might be able to share this with you. I'm looking for there we go. So let's talk about educator needs in the Antelope Valley. Renee mentioned this earlier, but when we talk, and thank you, by the way, for letting me use a fun PowerPoint background. People in my job always have to use the stuffy, very formal sort of looking thing. But I thought, oh, this is education. We get to have some fun, and it's fall. So
Jennifer, I was actually going to say thank you for bringing the pumpkins because I just brought off 2 big trays of pumpkin stuff for my kids' school just yesterday. So thank you for bringing the pumpkin. I think almost, especially since it's finally cooler,
right.
like, doesn't it feel right, everybody? So thank you, Jennifer, for that. Sorry to interrupt there, but I totally wanted to say thanks for that.
So I'm just going to briefly give you an overview of some things that I saw, and this was just a super quick glance. I just went to one place, but look, just in one job source in Lancaster alone, there's 174 current searches for people in the district here. In Palmdale, there's 191. I'm an English major, and I don't do quick math. I'm sure Christos could get that precisely, but from across the street, that's over 300 jobs, right? Just right here in these 2 cities. That's not even talking about the whole of the Antelope Valley. And so when we think about the demand and the great need, I don't see that as a bad thing. What I see is, look at the amazing opportunity for all of you who are young and fresh and eager to get into a profession, the change and the different mindset you can bring to the educational system, the energy you can bring to our students. This is a huge and beautiful opportunity. So when you look at this, what you should understand is that what you're training for, there's going to be a job for you. There will be a job for you. So when you do that, when you understand that, what is it that you make, right? I just kind of trolled a couple of web pages looking at different job descriptions. If you're an hourly worker, you can make $25 to $30 an hour. Some of them are 10-month jobs, some of them are 12-month jobs, some of them are temporary, some of them are full-time. If you're looking more at some of the non-teaching but support kind of roles, custodial, secretarial, they go anywhere from $2,000 to $3,500 a month, 10-month, 12-month jobs. We have retirement benefits for when when you're ready to enter that promised land that we all look forward to. Teachers can make the starting salary. Oh, I forgot a zero. $45,000 to $99,000 a year. 10-month jobs with retirement benefits. And even if you're working your way into that full certification and you're able to qualify as a substitute teacher, $130 a day is not a bad wage for having to hurry up and get somewhere and help out when they're in a bit of a crisis. So really, there's a lot of job functions. some people might not see themselves as that teacher standing up in the front of the class, but you might see yourself totally as that instructional support assistant, right? Who comes alongside and maybe works one-on-one with students. Maybe your passion is students who are differently abled, and you know that you could give that child the care and attention that they need so that they can learn just like all the other children. So when you think about those things, there's such a wide array of possibilities when it comes to job functions in education. But the real question is, what do teachers really make? This is what we really make. We make generational change. When we embrace those students, and Jane, thank you for sharing your story about coming from another place. When we embrace students who maybe are very tentative because they're in a different culture, they're trying to perform in a language that is not their native language. Think about the change you can make for that family, because once you make change with one generation, that change is made from that generation forward. If we teach them how to be lifelong learners and discerning people, we can break chains of poverty. We can break chains of generational poverty, and that student's children will not be impoverished. This is so significant because this is a change that lives long beyond our tenure in the classroom. It outlives us. And this is what teachers really make. We make empathetic and discerning citizens. When we teach the children, when we teach the young students to be kind to one another, if someone's clothes don't match, don't mock them. Maybe that's all the clothes that they had that were clean today. Let's teach them how to empathize. Let's teach them how to comfort one another instead of alienate one another. Let's teach them how to tell the difference between a joke and a hurtful comment. That's discernment. And when we teach that kind of discernment in children, what that looks like in an adult is the difference between discrimination and acceptance. We make empathetic and discerning citizens. And what all that means when you bring it together, educators make strong communities. In communities where education is strong, the community is strong because you have people who are problem solvers and resourceful. They have been taught how to diagnose the root issue, and they have been taught to fix immediately with resources that they have, make one small change in the right direction to solve the problem. And when many people make helpful small changes, big changes occur in our communities. So when education is strong, our communities are strong. And you, as educator, are privileged to be part of that. Days when I'm tired and days when I think, man, do I have it in me today to go into the office and do XYZ, work on XYZ, deal with ABC. When you have those days ahead of you, in my mind, I go back to my why, and I go back to what we really make in education. We make generational change, we make empathetic, discerning citizens, and we make strong communities. And if that is not life-changing stuff, I don't know what is. You are here early on a Saturday morning because you care and you're interested. And I would say to you, that's the foundation that you need for a strong and successful career in education. I don't know if any of you have heard of Taylor Mali, but he is an educator. He teaches middle school, actually, and he's also a slam poet. And he has a slam, and I don't know, you probably know what slam poetry is, but it's performance poetry, right? It's a recitation and a little bit theatrical. And if, I'm gonna stop this, when I tried to do this from the PowerPoint last night, it hid the performance. So So what I'm going to do is go here and, okay, before I start, I'm going to get past the ad because be transparent. I don't pay YouTube. Maybe that's a cheap move, but now you know a little bit more about me. Okay, is this still?
Jennifer, it's on the screen of your picture right now.
Okay, so let me share again. Thank you for telling me that. Go back to this, share screen. We're going to go here. I'm going to share my computer sound so that you can hear it. And there we go.
We got it.
He says the problem with teachers is, what's a kid going to learn from someone who decided that his best option in life was to become a teacher? I'm sorry. He reminds the other dinner guests that it's true what they say about teachers. Those who can, do, and those who can't, teach. I'm sorry. I decide to bite my tongue instead of his, and resist the urge to remind the other dinner guests that it's also true what they say about lawyers, because we're eating after all, and this is supposed to be polite conversation. I mean, you're a teacher, Taylor. Come on, be honest. What do you make? And I wish he hadn't done that. Asked me to be honest. Because you see, I've got this little policy in my classroom about honesty and butt kicking, which is, if you ask for it, then I have to let you have it. You want to know what I make? I make kids work harder than they ever thought they could. I can make a C+ feel like a Congressional Medal of Honor, and I can make an A- feel like a slap in the face. How dare you waste my time with anything less than your very best? I make kids sit through 40 minutes of study hall in absolute. No, you may not work in groups. No, you cannot ask me a question, so put your hand down. Why won't I let you go to the bathroom? Because you're bored, and you don't really have to go to the bathroom, do you? I make parents tremble in fear when I call home at around dinner time. Hi, this is Mr. Molly. Hope I haven't called at a bad time. I just wanted to talk to you about something that your son said today in class. To the biggest bully in the grade, he said, "Hey, why don't you leave that kid alone?" I still cry sometimes, don't you? And that was the noblest act of courage that I have ever seen. I make parents see their children for who they are and who they can be. You want to know what I make? I make kids wonder. I make them question. I make them criticize. I make them apologize and mean it. I make them write, and then I make them read. I make them spell. Definitely beautiful, definitely beautiful, definitely beautiful. Define nightly, beautiful, until they will never misspell either one of those words again. I make them show all their work in math class and then hide it on their final drafts in English. I make them realize that if you've got this, then you follow this. And if somebody ever tries to judge you based on what you make, you give them this. Here, let me break it down for you so you know what I say is true. Teachers make a difference. Now, what about you?
That is one of my, thank you for letting me share that. It's one of my favorite poems of his. He has another one called The Miracle Workers, and it's also about teaching. It's so powerful because what he says is true. You know, it's that dinner conversation. And what do you do, right? And, you know, people want to play those social power games. But the reality is, Kayla, his name is Taylor Mali. I'll type it in the chat. Taylormali. And what do you do? Social power games are just that. They're games. And what we as educators know, when people play those games, it's out of a sense of their own, maybe inadequacy. Maybe they don't really believe in what they're doing to the extent that we believe in what we're doing. we intentionally pursue a career, a calling of service. So I thank you for being here today. I invite you, I thank you for letting Antelope Valley College serve you, and thank you for letting us come alongside. Jane, Christos, Renee, thank you so much. To all of you, explore today with all of your heart, all of your passion, and if you ever want to talk, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Send me an email. There's nothing I love to talk more than teaching. I've done it since the earth was cooling. And so, you know, it's a beautiful thing. So enjoy today, and thank you so much for allowing me to join you for today.
Wonderful. Thank you so, so much, Jennifer, for being here today. And thank you for the moment we jumped on today. You said, you know what, call me Jennifer Renee. I appreciate that because, you know, just like you were saying, some of the social power that exists within education, like it's time to break it down. It's time for all of us to work together. I'm a note taker. I'm not sure if anybody else, I'm a note taker. And so I have just so many thoughts from everything that was said recently. First of all, my why, and just starting with what Jennifer said with us. Everybody keep your why close. And if you don't know what your why is, it's time to do some reflection and figure it out. Sometimes even talking to a colleague or a friend about it will help you to understand. I actually recently had a colleague say to me, Renee, you realize your why. And she actually broke it down in a way that I had never conceptualized myself. And then the moment she said it to me, it was like, oh, that is my why. And for me, my why is about preserving childhood. I think it's important to preserve childhood. And I mean that for children and teens. And so I love that Jennifer said that. I also really appreciate that she talked about imposter syndrome. Many who are on right now would probably look at Jennifer, Christos, Jane, myself, and think that none of us would ever encounter imposter syndrome. I do all the time. The first time I was asked to speak at a Senate Budget Committee meeting where you're like in front of senators and you're trying to get them to agree on that was a $54 million proposal for the community college system. I totally felt like an imposter. So you have to figure out, because guess what? You're going to feel like an imposter sometimes in this work. So figure out what you're going to do so you remember that you're meant to be here and that you're not an imposter. For me, I have a theme song. Whenever I'm in a space, a mind space where I'm like feeling like I'm less than, I have two different songs I like to play, and let the songs get in my head, and then I go into that space as Renee Marshall, and I'm ready to roll. So just know that every single one of us does feel that imposter syndrome, and still do. I've been in education. I'm 48 years old. I started working with children and teens technically when I was 10 years old, but as a job starting at 16. And so it's important to know that it's okay no matter where you are with your development. We're all here developing, trying to be better, trying to be good for our communities. That was something also that was said. Educators make strong communities. I think that is really, really powerful. And she said, because we're problem solvers and we're resourceful. And I think that's really important for us to know. Another thing too, today is about possibilities. Today is about career growth. Today is about inspiration. Those words coming for Jennifer were just really incredibly powerful reminders to me. Another thing that she said too, she talked about the impact of teachers and how as a parent, you may see your child a certain amount of hours each day, but the moment that child or teen goes to school, they're there for 8 hours with those educators. And now, just so everybody knows, we have one of the most significant investments in expanded care within our education system. And so those kids that go for 8 hours now, they're going to be eligible for up to 10 hours of care at their school sites between being in a classroom with a credentialed teacher and then moving into expanded care program for after school programming. We're going to see after school programming change substantially. There's after school provider networks that are looking for full-time employees at great salaries, great benefits, because they understand what's coming up next in education. So just like Dr. Zealot just said, there's going to be more days when those children and teens are spending time with us, more time with us than with their families and with their parents. So our impact is significant, and don't ever belittle the impact that we make in education and what we do, and every single career in education. I love that Jennifer included our yard duty supervisors, our custodians, our office staff, everybody who works in the machine to help people get educated. One of my favorite teacher prep students I ever worked with was majoring in accounting and did everything in my teacher prep program because she wanted to be a district accountant and knew that she wanted to have a teacher prep background because she wanted to end up at a district office. So if you're here today, I can guarantee there's a job for you in education. There's so many different opportunities that are existing right now, but that are coming through the pipeline as well. I want to also talk about Christos and Jane, and just for a moment about what they said. First of all, Christos showed us and proved to us this work has been going on at Antelope Valley for a long time. He's also reminded us that funding plays a key role in teacher preparation efforts. Right now, Antelope Valley absolutely has funding to keep these awesome resources going for quite a while, which is so exciting. When you get an opportunity to have a Title V federal grant, it's not just a one-year grant, everybody. It's a multi-year grant. And then if things go well and we have strong data and we can showcase the impact that we're making, sometimes we get an opportunity for additional funding as well, additional years of funding. Later today, actually, in just a moment, we're going to be sharing the survey that goes along with the conference. Now, here's the thing, though. Most of you are going to be here for most of the day, okay? So at some point today, please fill out this survey because this is what helps us to continue to get funding in teacher preparation and specifically for Antelope Valley College. This is going to show us who's here today and the impact that this conference has made on you. If you're going to be here all day, don't worry. I will be dropping this in. I'll be dropping this the survey link in all day long. Jane and I will be at all of your sessions all day. So you'll see us in the chat and we'll be there in support. I also want to make sure that everybody's reminded around lunchtime today at 12:30, we're going to have a really dynamic teaching panel that they're STEM educators, but they're going to be talking about their journeys in STEM education, but they're going to be talking about the benefits of teaching in general. So everything that they say is going to be relevant for anyone, no matter what age and what grade you want to teach and what subject area you want to teach. So I hope you join us. I also want to remind everybody too, at the very end of the day from 3:30 to 4, we're going to have a quick closing with an opportunity drawing. We have 8 different fun and exciting, engaging presents to go out to people who attend that opportunity drawing. You do have to be present to win. So if you're available from 3:30 to 4, make sure to join us at that time. Now I've got something, actually, I want to talk about something with Jane first, and then I'm going to share something that I'm so excited about, and it's going to be like, I don't know, first time it's dropping, so I'm really excited about it. But Jane said something that hit my heart. Jane shared with us about her journey as a second language learner, as somebody who came from another country and was learning, different norms of coming into education, about her husband's journey and how some of the tests really were a barrier for people in her family, and how she had to give more being a second language student and really, taking additional ESL classes, taking additional English classes, always trying to better herself. That's an inspiration. And I hope Jane is an inspiration for many of us who are on today. Something she said, though, that really tugged at my heart. She said, I knew as a child that I wanted to teach because I used to teach my toys. How many who are, I see at least one head going, oh yeah. Do you guys know that 50% of the teaching field knows they want to be a teacher by the time they're 5 and 6 years old? How many other career tracks, pathways can say that people know that young that they want to be a teacher? Being a teacher, I love it. I knew it at 10. I used to make assignments for my plushies. I used to teach my friends. I did too. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing the chat right now and I love it. Even Dr. Jennifer, the president of Antelope Valley College, says, I did too. I am so just thrilled that people are sharing that. I have to tell you, when I was a 5th grade teacher at Castaic Elementary, for many of you who are in Antelope Valley, Santa Clarita. I'm right next door. I live next to Magic Mountain. I taught at all 4 schools in Castaic, in addition to being a professor and administrator at College of the Canyons. But when I was a 5th grade teacher at Castaic Elementary, I had the most lovely student. Her name's Rachel Godalia, and she's okay with me using her name. Um, she used to come to my class every day and she'd be like, Miss Marshall, do you have any extra worksheets, any extra tickets? Can I have extra stuff from the treasure box? Do you have extra, chalk or extra dry erase markers? Whatever I had, I would just give her. I'd be like, yeah, you're looking for this? Absolutely. Oh, you want to do this? Absolutely. And she'd bring in pictures. Okay, this was back in the day, no cell phone, not with my 10-year-olds at that point. And she'd bring in pictures and she'd go, Miss Marshall, this is a picture of my classroom. And she had a whiteboard and she had all of her animals, stuffed animals and dolls around the whiteboard. And they'd be like sitting there, there'd be papers in front of them, activities in front of them and whatnot. And she'd teach them every day. Fast forward, she was 10 at that point. I tried my best to support everything I could do. One of my favorite things actually is Rachel is a person of Jewish faith. And she actually came to me and said, Miss Marshall, is there any way that I could teach the class about Hanukkah? And I said, of course, I'd be happy for you to teach the class about Hanukkah, but wouldn't it be maybe more relevant for you to come and teach about, the high holy days and maybe Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur? And you know what Rosh Hashanah is? Absolutely. Some of my family's Jewish. So what do you want to teach the class? Fantastic. So she came in and did a lesson with my class. You should have seen how hands-on it was. This 10-year-old had full command of 34 of her peers in the room. I knew then that she was going to be spectacular. Fast forward, and as a 20-year-old woman, she walks into my college intro to teaching class at College of the Canyons and is like, Miss Marshall, I'm ready to be a teacher now. So I had the opportunity to teach her as an adult as well. And I'm so, so thrilled that we all made this investment with Rachel. Because right this minute, like not right now, she's hopefully sleeping in. But yesterday and on Monday, she's a 1st-grade teacher in the Newport School District. And guess what grade she always wanted to teach? And so guess what, everybody? Those days of teaching your dolls and teaching your toys and all the things that we do in education, they absolutely lead to this next part. They absolutely lead to the career. So, okay, here's this next piece that I'm really excited to share with everybody, okay? And you, the 91 people who are on this minute, are getting first dibs on this. So next week, next Tuesday night and Wednesday night, we are offering CBEST test preparation for free. It's virtual. And for anyone who's interested, okay? We haven't been able to run these yet. We're so excited to get to do it. We wanted to give everybody at the conference first dibs on registering. I just put the links in the chat. On Tuesday night from 6 to 8, we're going to learn about the math portion of the CBEST test. CBEST is something that's required for anybody who wants to be a sub or anybody who wants to teach TK through 12. Now, there's some other ways that you can waive out of it now. So for those of you who are looking into waiving out, if you've already got a bachelor's degree, if you already have a bachelor's degree where you passed all your math and English classes with a B or higher, you might not need to take this test. But there's still many, many people who do. And it's a test that if somebody breaks it down for you and teaches you how to take the test, you're going to be more likely to be successful passing it your first time. So we've got April Riley. She's fantastic. She's a K through 12 teacher, but she's also served as a professor in education. She's going to be leading both the sessions. The first one is on Tuesday night from 6 to 8. And that one is focusing specifically on the math portions of the CBEST. The second night is on Wednesday from 6 to 8. This is the 28th of September, and that's going to focus on the English portions of the test. Now, between these 2 nights, April's going to break down what exactly you can expect on the test, what the format looks like. She's going to get into test-taking strategies, specifically strategies that are going to bring down any anxiety that you might have about taking these tests and passing these tests. And then in addition to that, she's going to get into a couple of like sample problems of what it looks like and how we can break it down together. Now, something really cool about this, and this goes back to Jane and Jane's commitment to everybody who's on right now. Not only is Jane and the TAP program offering these 2 CBEST test prep workshops for you for free, and they're virtual, so anybody can join. But if you register and attend both Tuesday from 6 to 8 and Wednesday from 6 to 8 next week, anyone who does that is also going to be mailed a Princeton guide to help you pass the CBEST. That guide is normally about $25, $30, but we've purchased them as an investment for you because we want to help you not only with the workshop, but as you're preparing and getting ready to take and to crush that test. All it is another test. All it is another test. It's a barrier. Yeah, let's help you get through it. So please, 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 if anyone is interested, and you do not need a book for the workshops, we will provide everything you need. We will send you the book afterwards. I'm going to put this in the chat one more time so everybody has those links. I will put those links in again later today. But before we have a few more minutes together before we go to our first sessions. Oh, this is going to be a hard one to choose because you've got Brandon from JPL, who's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Brandon's so fantastic, so hands-on. But then you have Yadira Ariana, who is faculty here at Antelope Valley College. In addition to other colleges, Yadira actually teaches for a couple colleges. And Yadira is going to be sharing her experience as a first-generation student, as a first-generation teacher. Both of these are going to be impactful. Might be hard to choose. One thing for everybody to know, we are going to try our best to record every session today. There is one session that cannot be recorded. That is about your financial future, and that's the CalSTRS session that's happening later today with Jennifer. Please know that CalSTRS is not allowed to record this type of session, so that's why that's one session that's not recorded, but everything else we are going to try our best to record. Thank you also for the people who are already messaging me privately to say that they've registered for the CBEST workshops. That makes me so incredibly happy. Before we log off though today, I just want to talk about just a couple pieces of logistical information to make sure that everybody knows what's happening today. Yadira, did you want to say something? I see your hand.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I didn't want to interrupt. It was such a great conference. I was so inspired by the president. I mean, how lucky are we that we have a president that actually believes in education? I work at different campuses, and I know that it's not in every campus. So we are really, 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 really lucky. But I just wanted to ask, about the CBEST and I should have raised my hand. I was going to send a chat. But looking forward to see anybody who's going to join the my session. But then you have Brandon. So I don't know. That's a hard one.
It's great too because Yadira and Brandon know each other too, which makes it even better. Yadira, also for your other students, we can absolutely share the CBEST test prep information. One thing that Antelope Valley prides itself in is being inclusive. And so just like with this conference, by all means, we have Antelope Valley students, but we have many others as well. It's the same idea for the workshop.
Yeah,
so
no,
I love that you brought that up.
We have El Camino students here too, and Rio Hondo. So I teach at both colleges, and I invited everybody and my students and ABC too. So thank you. Yeah, share that with me. I will share it with everybody.
Excellent,
Oh,
excellent.
ELAC too. Wow. Yay, go ELAC. I'm a ELAC.
Oh, yeah.
graduate.
We also have Compton College in the building.
It's great. That makes us so happy. We even have some of our four-year colleges here. Another thing that I'm super excited about, we have high school dual enrollment students that are on right now too. So we've got our high school students. I see Pierce in the house. I love this. Oh my gosh, this makes me so happy. This is what the community is about. This is what the community of educators is about. This is all about inclusion. It's about all of us coming together and trying to be better, you know? Okay, so here's what we've got in store, everybody. We are on from 8 to 4 today. Please stay with us for as much as you can. We understand life. If you need to go to the bathroom, you need to get a drink or whatever, we totally get it. But please hang with us as much as you can because today's the day. This isn't happening again this semester. So today's the day, everybody. Want to let you know, as of right now, we have over 235 people registered, which is always so exciting. One thing I want to share though, in between sessions, I check my email. So if you have any friends or colleagues who still want to join, you just shoot them my email, education@reneemarshall.com, and I will get them joined and in the group as quickly as I possibly can. I also want to let you know, some of you are taking the Introduction to Teaching class that requires 45 hours of field work. Some of the sessions today are considered appropriate and to be counting towards that field work since we're in the virtual space. Please know that on your conference schedule that you were emailed with all the links, it should say underneath the person's description, This session is presented by a credentialed teacher. So if you need to get those 45 hours of field work and you're utilizing Teach for Antelope Valley as a way to get those hours, please make sure you try your best to go to the sessions that are with credentialed teachers, okay? Another thing too also, what you get out of Teach for Antelope Valley is really up to you. This is really like a choose your own conference. Every block, you're gonna have 2 different sessions. In the morning, we're together. In the during the teacher panel, we're together, and the closing session, we're together. Other than that, we're jumping between the 2 different sessions, okay? Okay, great questions too about recording. We're gonna try our best to record the CBEST test prep sessions. Please know though, everyone, we are currently building a website though. So it's not like we have the place to put all the recordings yet. So we'll have maybe like a week or so till we're able to get them out to everybody, but we will try to get them out as soon as possible. Another thing too though, when you go into your sessions today and your presenters, they ask you to introduce in the chat or share what your name is or do a poll or a survey or anything like that, please make sure that you chime in. Your participation is key. Okay, I'm going to do one more drop in the chat before we go ahead and log off for now, everybody. But we have got, just real quick reminder, we've got the conference survey, we've got CBEST and CBEST test prep coming up. If you're interested in any of those, please make sure that you join us for those. But most importantly, have a great day today. Have fun at Teach for Antelope Valley. Just enjoy it, learn and soak in as much as you can. And we really, truly hope that everybody has a spectacular day. So I will see you in session you'll either see me or Jane in every single session. First session starts at 9:15. Remember, we've got sessions on special education, early childhood education, how to get your credential. We've got sessions from Cal State Bakersfield on the programs that they offer. We also have a really special session from UC Irvine on a special STEM credential that if you go in that pipeline, they pay the credential for you. That's a $22,000 savings. So check it out today. Please go to lots of sessions. I also want to do a plug for CalSTRS. They're going to be talking about your financial freedom. I know it might sound early to be thinking about your financial freedom in the future. The more you understand it early, the better. So we have got early childhood sessions, all sorts of different sessions. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody, and we will see you in session 1. Bye, everybody. Have a great time today. We'll see you at the first breakout.